Okay, we're going to create a logo in Illustrator. First thing you want to do is go up to New, specify 8 inches by 8 inches for your page size. Then you want to go to View at the top. Make sure Snap to Point is the only item that's checked off. Then go over to Window and make sure Align, Color, and Gradient are checked off. Nothing else except maybe transform because it's not going to do anything. I just want you to be able to organize your desktop really well so that it's organized. So here's all the windows you're going to need for this assignment. So first thing you want to do is go to the text tool. Click anywhere on your screen. In all caps, click the word, type the word, sliced. Okay. Wipe across it. You can change the size this way. You can change it by grabbing the handles if you want to. I'm in the black arrow tool right now. That's how you get the square bounding boxes. Hold down Shift and drag it. You can change the size that way too. You want to change the font. I just triple clicked in there. Or if you don't want to triple click, you can deselect it. I just hit the command, clicked on the desktop. I'm back in the text tool. Wipe over your type. Go choose a pretty hefty typeface. I'm going to choose in Helvetica. Not earwig, thank you. A Helvetica, not fractions. How bizarre. Black, how about that? Okay, there's your word sliced. You want to rotate it just slightly now. So if you accidentally deselect your text, it's like nothing is selected. Go back to your black arrow tool, select the text. You'll see the bounding boxes all around it. If you move your cursor to the upper right or any one of the edges, you'll see a little double-edged curved arrow. Click and drag. Then your text is on an angle. You can kern in this program too, but I'm not going to do that right now. What I want to do is go to Create Outlines under Type. My type is selected. It created outlines. So now it's no longer text. You can't just swipe right over it. It's an item. It's an object. So you know. I want to lower the opacity a little. So I'm going to go up to the opacity menu on the top. Go to 50%. Then I'm going to deselect it. I click off of it. Go to the rectangle tool on the left. Drag a big rectangle around your text, like from the bottom of the S to maybe the bottom of the E. Lower the opacity of the rectangle so you can see the text underneath it. If you want to enlarge it, zoom in, it's Command plus to see where the bottom of your bounding box is. If you want to move your screen around, if you hold the space bar down, you'll get the little grabby hand. Then you can move the whole screen into view. So I'm in the rectangle tool. I can make it bigger or smaller or shorter or longer. I'm lining it up with the bottom of the S. And that looks pretty good. So now I want to select all, which is Command A. If I go to the Shape Builder tool, you might see a live paint bucket or a live paint tool there instead. In that same little box, you can get to the Shape Builder tool. So click on the Shape Builder tool. I want to remove from the shape selection that I'm going to create the inside of the D. So I hold down Option with everything still selected. Inside the D, you'll see the minus sign. So that takes away the inside of the D. I'm going to keep holding down the Option key, and you'll get the little minus sign by your arrow and click on the rectangle above, and it takes that away from your selection as well. So what I want to do now, since I'm still in the Shape Builder tool, is just click and drag a line all the way across the text on the top. You don't want to select that inner part of the D because you don't want that to be part of the shape you're building. Everything is still selected. I'm still in the Shape Builder tool. I click and drag along the bottom portion of the text. And now that's a separate shape as well. If I go up to the black arrow tool and deselect everything, click on the bottom halves of the type. You can hold down Shift and keep clicking and select all of them. I want to group those. That's Command G. You can see I can shift the type now. I don't want to do that yet. I want to click, Shift click, or you can also marquee all of the text at the top. If you don't get it in your selection, hold down Shift, add to it, group it. There you go. What do I want to do? I'm going to select the bottom group and just nudge it over with my arrow key to the left a little bit. So now you have an upper half of the text and a lower half of the text. I want to select both the upper and lower parts. So while the bottom part's selected, hold down Shift and click the top group. I'm going to fill those with white. So here's the fill, is the square that's in front is also right here. First I want to bring the opacity back up to 100. It looks like it is. It may or may not be. We'll find out. So instead of black, I'm going to have white. Looks like there's nothing there, but there is. So just take my word for it. If you do Command Y, that shows the outlines. Command Y again turns off the outlines. So now I want to make a background. So I go to the rectangle tool, draw a big shape, fill the big shape with a red-ish color, send it to the back. You can right click and do order send to back. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. Or you can use the keyboard shortcut Shift Option bracket, and that sends it to the back. If I select the text again, it looks like it's grayed out. And that's because the appearance is based on things we did before. So I'm going to ungroup those. Command Shift G ungroups those. Now I'm going to select all those pieces again. Make sure they're white at 100%. There we go. Same with the bottom. Everything's ungrouped. I'm Shift clicking. Oh, I got the background in there. I didn't want that. Deselect everything. Click, Shift click, Shift click, Shift click, all the way till you get all of the items in the selection that you want. It's white at 100%. Okay. So now I want to make a gradient in these upper letters. I selected all the letters. I'm going to group those so now they're all one unit, and as I create a blend or a gradient, it will be applied to each of those letters. So I want to go to my gradient tool on the left, go to the gradient that I have open on the right, which I specified in the beginning. It'll automatically give you a linear gradient at whatever angle it decides that he wants to give it at. There we go. Okay. To adjust the angle, you're in your gradient tool over to the left. If you just click and drag down, the upper portion of this line is where the white starts. You can do that as many times as you want to. Play with it and move, draw a longer line and see what happens. So I have found the right place to be somewhere around here. It's on a funny angle. I like that. Okay, you can actually angle your gradient as well, but then it's only going to apply it to certain letters. You want it to apply throughout. If it looks pretty good and you want to adjust the angle, you can do that over here in your angle palette within the gradient. So right now it's minus 90. You can go minus 60. No, didn't want to do that. Undo it. Incrementally, you can do it as well, up or down, by just typing in, just looks like it's on an odd angle, so I'm just going to go negative 95. Point being that you can change the angle of the gradient within the text. Deselect it, and it looks pretty good. That's about it. You can save it. Under save, just name it whatever you want to name it. My last name. Make sure you know where it's being saved to. Nothing on the desktop is saved, so you're going to want to either save it to a flash drive or save it to your desktop and then email it to yourself. I don't really want to save it, but that's okay. We'll just pretend I did. And that's it. Thanks.